The Dark Knight didn't just break superhero rules, it smashed them. Gritty realism, real explosions, and a villain who stole the movie made it unforgettable. The production was chaotic, the star was injured, and one scene with the Joker went completely off script. These are 20 weird facts about The Dark Knight, plus a bonus you won't want to miss. Fact 1. Christopher Nolan blew up a real hospital. That massive explosion, the one where the Joker walks out of a crumbling building in a nurse uniform, wasn't CGI. Nolan found a real, abandoned hospital in Chicago scheduled for demolition and made a deal. The explosion was one take only. They wired over 200 practical charges, ran tests for days, and let Heath Ledger improvise the timing. When the detonator malfunctions and he fiddles with it in character, that was real. The delay freaked out the crew. Ledger just kept rolling. Fact 2. Heath Ledger kept a Joker diary, and it's terrifying. To prepare for the role, Ledger locked himself in a hotel room for weeks, writing, drawing, and scribbling inside a leather-bound journal labeled Joker. It included photos of hyenas, quotes from A Clockwork Orange pages that just said "ha ha ha" over and over, and a chilling note that read, "Bye-bye" near the end. He used it to find the character's mindset, and once he did, it never really left him. Fact 3. Christian Bale accidentally punched a stuntman hard during one of the parking garage fight scenes. Bale was so deep into Batman mode that he misjudged a swing and connected, thus full force, with a stuntman's jaw. The guy hit the ground. Bale froze. Then the stuntman got up and said, "Again, but slower." They finished the take, and Nolan used it. Because if Batman's not accidentally knocking someone out, is it really a Batman movie? Fact 4. The Batsuit made Bale faint. The new suit for The Dark Knight looked great, sleek, tactical, armored, but it was incredibly hot, and Bale wore it under blazing lights for hours. One day, between takes, he collapsed from heat exhaustion. The costume department had to redesign the underlayer with built-in ventilation. Bale's only request: make it so I can turn my head this time. They did. Finally, loving these behind-the-scenes twists. Hit subscribe and tap the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Fact 5. The Joker's licking habit wasn't scripted. That weird, menacing tongue flick Heath Ledger does throughout the film. Totally improvised. Ledger's prosthetic scars kept loosening during scenes, so he'd lick his lips to keep them in place. Over time, it became part of the Joker's persona. Twitchy, unpredictable, animalistic. Nolan loved it. It turned a makeup problem into iconic body language. Fact 6. The IMAX camera broke during a chase scene. Cost $500,000. Nolan shot many action sequences using massive IMAX cameras, which were heavy, rare, and extremely delicate. During the armored truck chase under Gotham, one of them fell off a rig and shattered on impact. The camera body alone was worth $500,000. The crew paused in silence. Nolan shrugged and said, "Okay, back to 1. Because when you're making The Dark Knight, there's no room for panic." Fact 7. Michael Caine forgot his lines when he saw the Joker. In the penthouse party scene, when Joker crashes Bruce Wayne's fundraiser, Michael Caine was supposed to greet him. Instead, when Ledger entered in full makeup, Caine froze. He'd never seen Ledger in costume before. And the sight stunned him so much, he literally missed his cue. He later said, "He scared the bloody hell out of me." The take still works, because who wouldn't be speechless? Fact 8. The Batman voice was added in post. On set, Bale used a lighter version of the now iconic Batman growl, but Nolan didn't think it sounded intimidating enough, so they digitally enhanced the voice, boosting the gravel, distorting the pitch. Some fans hated it, others loved it. Bale said he got sore throats either way, because crime fighting isn't pretty. Fact 9. Aaron Eckhart did his own Two-Face motion capture. The gruesome makeup for Harvey Dent post-explosion was 100% CGI, but the facial tics and movements? That was Eckhart, filmed with dots and headgear so VFX could track every snarl and eye twitch. He studied burn victim interviews and practiced talking with one half of his mouth. The result? A monster that was half digital, half heartbreak. Nolan said it was the most technically demanding commanding part of the entire film. And you barely notice. That's the magic. Fact 10. Heath Ledger directed part of the movie, the Joker's handheld hostage videos, where he taunts Gotham and threatens chaos. Ledger directed those himself. Nolan handed him a camera and said, "Just do what the Joker would do." Ledger filmed in character, improv style, with no crew and no second takes. Nolan saw the first one and said, "It's perfect, don't touch it." That's not acting, that's haunting. Fact 11. The Batpod didn't actually work at first. The sleek, growling motorcycle Batman rides in the Dark Knight? That's the Batpod, and it was an engineering nightmare. Built from scratch with wide tires and no handlebars, it was impossible to ride for most stunt drivers. After several crashes during testing, one guy finally mastered it, stuntman Jean-Pierre Goy. He had to lie flat, steer with his shoulders, and control acceleration with foot pedals. And the most terrifying part? No brakes. When asked how they stopped it, he said, "We don't. We just aim for something soft." Fact 12. Christian Bale lost his cool, and it went viral. During Terminator Salvation, Bale infamously exploded on a crew member. But it wasn't the first time he'd snapped. On The Dark Knight, there were reports of tense arguments between Bale and the crew, especially during long night shoots. He never went full Joker, but the pressure of staying in character, dealing with the suit, and filming in the dead of winter took its toll. Nolan stepped in and banned all media from the set afterward. Gotham was dark, and so was Bale's fuse. Fact 13. The hospital explosion almost failed. Even though the hospital was real, the detonation was still risky. There was a very precise window where everything had to go off in sequence, or they'd lose the shot forever. When the explosion stalled for a second, Heath Ledger didn't panic. He improvised a button-clicking tantrum, staying in character the entire time. Then, boom. Perfect timing. One take. One legend. Everyone behind the monitors erupted in applause. Ledger just walked away like it was nothing. Fact 14. The Joker makeup was applied differently every time. Heath Ledger didn't want the Joker to look polished. He wanted him to look deranged and lazy. So instead of a makeup artist doing it exactly the same each day, Ledger applied some of it himself. He smudged eyeliner, cracked the lip paint, and licked it into weird shapes. He told the team, "Make it look like he slept in it." By the end of filming, his wig smelled like sweat, smoke, and glue. And that was exactly the point. Fact 15. Nolan refused to use 3D, but shot in IMAX. While every other blockbuster in 2008 was flirting with 3D, Nolan flat out refused. He hated the idea of gimmicks. Instead, he became the first director to use IMAX cameras for major sequences, including the opening bank heist. The gear was massive, loud, impossible to sneak into tight sets, but the footage? Breathtaking. When the Joker removes his mask in that first scene, audiences in IMAX didn't just watch it, they felt it. Fact 16. Maggie Gyllenhaal replaced Katie Holmes, and people didn't notice. Katie Holmes played Rachel Dawes in Batman Begins, but didn't return for the sequel. Whether it was a scheduling conflict or a studio dispute, nobody agrees. Maggie Gyllenhaal took over the role, and Nolan made no reference to the change. No reshoots, no flashbacks, just seamless recasting. Most audiences didn't blink, because by the time Rachel faced the Joker, the tension was too high to notice anything else. Fact 17. Two-Face's coin was real and rigged. That silver coin Harvey Dent flips throughout the film. It wasn't CGI. They made several versions, including a two-headed one for before the accident, a scarred, burned version for after, and one that was weighted to always land on a specific side for certain scenes. Eckhart had to learn how to flip it so it didn't look rigged, even though it was. In one take, it landed upright in the dirt. The crew lost it. Fact 18. Hans Zimmer used razor blades on strings to score the Joker. The Joker's theme isn't a melody, it's a feeling. Hans Zimmer used razor blades on cello strings to create the chaotic rising tension behind every Joker scene. He called it the sound of a mind unraveling. The track builds, but never resolves. Just like the Joker himself. It's not music, it's dread, recorded. Fact 19. The truck flip was done for real. In one of the film's most jaw-dropping moments, Batman flips an 18-wheeler on a city street. No CGI, no miniatures. The crew rigged the truck with a giant metal piston hidden under the trailer, which fired at full force and launched it into the air. Stunt driver Jim Wilkie was inside and had never tested the flip beforehand. He hit the button, the truck flipped. Everyone held their breath, and Nolan said, "Moving on." Fact 20. Heath Ledger scared everyone on set in the best way. He wasn't rude, he wasn't crazy, but when Ledger became the Joker, people moved out of his way. Even Gary Oldman said, "There were days where I didn't want to talk to him." He'd listen to Tom Waits' interviews on loop, chain smoke between takes, and sit in corners muttering to himself. Not to be edgy, but to stay locked in. Because once that makeup went on, he wasn't Ledger anymore. Bonus fact, one scene was so intense, Christian Bale almost walked off set. There's a scene in The Dark Knight that feels like it's about to explode. Literally, Batman interrogates the Joker in the GCPD, fist slamming, glass breaking, the Joker just laughing harder. What most fans don't know, that scene wasn't blocked out in advance. Nolan gave them space, told Bale and Ledger to improvise the emotion and timing, but it got too real. Ledger leaned into the chaos, goading Bale with ad-libs and manic laughter. At one point, Bale broke character and said, "If we keep going like this, someone's getting hurt." They paused filming, took a breath, came back in, and finished it in one take. Nolan said it was the most dangerous scene they shot, not because of stunts, because of how far the actors were willing to go. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like for more behind-the-scenes facts from your favorite movies.